Welcome. Special Dancing Goddess, Dragon Emperor, and Phoenix Sabbath. Coffee with yours truly, Adrian H. Dragon. Special rolling some legal on a lotto ticket, which I'm about to check and replay. $2 lotto ticket, which might or not get me out of the financial crisis. Universal Revolutionary Centrism is embodied by yours truly, world peace advocate, world's greatest living dancing millennial rainbow LGBTQ poet, yours Rainbow Dragon. It's a spiritual, philosophical, political, artistic, financial revolutionary. Yours truly, Adrian H, being reborn as Adrian Hana Dragon. Spiritual, philosophical, political, social, artistic, revolutionary. Adrian Hana Dragon's revolution. It's July 3rd, of course. Part of the 37 hour, 49 minute, 42 seconds, almost 38 hour Sabbath. I'm gonna go get some Chinese food for me, my friend. Oftentimes a teacher, and the one I love and call sister, who to that trinity of sister, friend, teacher adds a fourth dimension of being for the womb. Mom and my one and only financial sponsor, Anonymous. Now, Sabbath movie and some Chinese food. I am still in the process of learning Chinese for world peace. Believe that many make the mistake of seeing China as solely through a lens of a one-party communist state, which paradoxically China has been able to maintain reforms. But nonetheless, many fail to understand China not only as a communist state, a one-party communist state ruled, and one state ruled by the communist party of China, but fail to understand the deeper, more complex China. China is a civilization that dates back as more than 5,000 years. As Xi Jinping, the current president and chairman of the Chinese Communist Party, stated on the anniversary of the 100th anniversary of the Chinese Communist Party. Communism, of course, was a major ideology, philosophical, political, social, even moral ideology, which has its roots in Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, almost, although not only, but mainly in the writings of Karl Marx. And we see China flying the flags with the face of Karl Marx and Engels still. Of course, the words of Mr. Xi Jinping might have resonated a bit extreme. For some years when stated, of course, 3 days ago on the anniversary of the Chinese Communist Party, that all foreign powers who try to bully, enslave, or oppress China will have their heads bashed or smashed bloody against the Great Wall of Steel that 1.4 billion Chinese built. And see, even repeating the words of Xi Jinping from China give me goosebumps. I am a dreamer. I'm a world peace advocate, an independent security analyst and theorist, and an independent artist, athlete, activist, universal spiritual teaching student, and a student scholar of history, geopolitics, wars, and civilizations, which China is part of my student scholarship of China. Know a little, assume much. You gotta ask questions and discern. The paradox, of course, of yours truly's advocacy for the creation, of course, of the two institutions comes in a paradox. If somebody listens to this, the paradox that I'm referring to is the yours truly Adrian H. Dragon's new training program workout system, which I've designed, created a main right here in this room, office and temple to go hand in hand with a World War III scenario back in October 2019 as a world peace advocate and as independent analyst, thinker, theorist, and scholar, student scholar of history, wars, geopolitics, civilizations, and world peace advocate who up to that moment in time was embarked on a fitness journey, and I've lost up to October 2019, back in time I'm referring to. I've lost more than 55 to 60 pounds up to that moment in time. But also as a independent security analyst and theorist, and also as a student scholar of history, civilizations, and wars, was alarmed at what was going on in the world, saying in my heart, this trade war, I'm referring to the US-China trade war, the Trump administration has set the world on a path to World War III, saying in my head, alarm, 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 warning. US-China trade war was a factor in me creating the scenario, the World War III scenario, to go hand in hand when I work with my workout officially titled General War Integrated Total Body Training System, aka the 300 workout. And creating that program, training system, to go hand in hand with that scenario because of these events, geopolitical events, mainly but not only the US-China trade war that the Trump administration started, the arrest of Meng Wanzhou, the chief financial officer of Huawei and the daughter of the founder of Huawei, Meng Wanzhou, also known as Kathy Meng by Canadian authorities, the RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, in order to honor an extradition treaty with the USA that had been known and understood clearly that was, as a universal spiritual teacher, believed in reincarnations and was an American twice in past lives, 156 years ago down there, down south. Served in the US Army. was a world peace advocate, alarmed by what's going on in the world, the US-China trade war, the arrest of Meng Wanzhou, deterioration and crisis, deterioration of relations between China and Canada, the North American Chinese, geopolitical crises with the trade war and the arrest of Meng Wanzhou, which had deteriorated even more in the past weeks recently. Taking that into consideration, plus as a student scholar of history, I had taken the Pearl Harbor event into consideration as well. The event during World War II, which occurred on December 7th, 1941. Fact check that date, but I'm pretty sure December 7th, 1941. It's the date, December 7th, 1941, the day that Roosevelt says we'll even live in infamy. And so I've created a workout to go hand in hand with a scenario developed on what had transpired in the world. Alarmed as a world peace advocate, as saying in my heart, but also as a world peace advocate, advocating for world peace, but as also in parallel complementary as an independent security analyst and theorist and student scholar of war, civilization, geopolitics. When on a path to World War III, I was saying in my mind, from my analysis, what was transpiring. A US-China trade war could trigger a global financial collapse and a global stock market crash. So created a scenario, that World War III scenario, which providentially in a parallel prophetic way resembles the COVID-19 health and financial crisis. Now on COVID, my Trinity, I don't know what caused COVID for sure. I think it was transmitted from snakes to human beings. Since I don't know for sure, my theory of snakes is now validated 100% and confirmed. I cannot rule on other possibility, XYZ, lab accident, experiment gone wrong, bioweapon, etc., etc., etc. But what I do know 100%, without an inch of a doubt, is that right here in this room office and temple, into that trinity of temple, office, and room, was added a fourth dimension of being a gymnasium for the past 3 years, where I've lost more than 72 pounds up to today and got fit, paradoxically getting the fittest, strongest, most athletic condition of my adult life. I am rest day. It's the 37-hour Sabbath of the dancing goddess, the dragon empire, and the phoenix people's party. For all my allies and armies, and for myself, for rejuvenation, recreation, and pleasure. What I do know, without a doubt, is that I created that workout before COVID, about 93 days. The first session was October 17, 2019. Was the first session of the workout. General War Integrated Total Body Training System. 7 words. General War Integrated Total Body Training System, aka the 300 workout, was designed, created, and produced to go hand in hand with a World War III scenario, which is a simple and effective scenario, and workout training. And paradoxically, since in my scenario envisioned the solution to World War III and the devastation, destruction of the economy in the world, and the World War III, the solution was, in the scenario, mobilization of citizenry of NATO allies, North Atlantic Treaty Organization countries. The scenario is not over because it's ongoing until initially I've said to reach 300 sessions of that workout, which in the workout itself, of course, is 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 hops. You gotta do it in 93 minutes. Maximum 13 repetitions per set, minimum 3, and minimum 31 seconds marching, jogging, walking, fast pacing between each set. Each rep, so there's no pause once you start the 93-minute countdown. To do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 hocks, and between sets, whether you do 13 max, 3 minimum, you gotta march, jog, walk, fast pace, run, 31 seconds minimum. Those are the rules, simple rules. Within those rules, you can, without circumstance, integrate more cardio, XYZ. You can do whatever order you want. So within the rules, you can, with your character, your personality, how you like to do it. Those are the rules to my workout. Created to be able to be performed without equipment for the rapid mobilization and mass integration of 1% of or percentage of NATO citizens into the armed forces and both public and private police forces and security forces. And since COVID, paradoxically, I saw that COVID resembles my scenario, although my scenario predates COVID. It's a way prophetic by about 93 days, 3 months. So the first session was October 17th, 2019, when I performed the first session of the General War Integrated All Body Training System, yours truly, Dragon Zero, General Founding Captain of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Empire, which are one empire, under the sun, under the stars, under Dragon Zero. Yesterday, Friday, I performed my 195th session. So again, the rules of the General War Integrated All Body Training System are: you got 93 minutes to do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 hocks, maximum 13 reps per set, minimum 3. It doesn't matter what order you will, and let until you complete 100 for each of the Trinity: squats, push-ups, hocks. But you gotta march, jog, walk, fast pace, run, minimum 31 seconds in between each set. So let's say you do 7 push-ups, then you go, and that's a set. You count, mark 7 push-ups, and you want to do 7 squats. You gotta march between the sets. You can't do squats right away. You gotta march, jog, walk, fast pace, minimum of 31 seconds, and there's no pause. You march, jog, or walk continuously while you do it. So there's no pause once you start the clock. 93 minutes, back. Start countdown, you start marching, jogging, walking, fast pace. It was designed to go with hand in hand with a World War III scenario, which resembles the COVID-19 Health Financial Crisis. And since July 24, 2020, because of COVID, so it resembles my scenario, which in my scenario there was a stock market crash, which in real time the stock market crash occurred due to COVID, February 20 until about April 7th, and triggered recessions and depressions and the majorest, gravest, most severe economic downturn since the Great Depression. So for more than 70 years, even greater than the Great Recession 2007-2010, which yours truly suffered a lot because of it. And since July 24th, I began advocating for I founded the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Empire. One empire under the sun and the stars on earth, and the Phoenix People's Party, the anti-war, anti-poverty, anti-racism, pro-love. Universal Revolutionary Centrist Party. Universal, that's global, international, worldwide. For humanity to come together for world peace, international security and justice, and global freedom. By universal love. I need to mention that the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Empire and the Phoenix People's Party are non-sectarian, calling all ALL willingly loving to join as allies, citizens, supporters, subjects. But since July 24, of course, 2020, due to COVID-19 Health and Financial Crisis resembling my scenario, which was created to go with the workout, have begun advocating for and created the Dragon Army. Yours truly, Dragon Zero is the general founding captain, Androgynous Pansexual general founding captain. Adrian H. Dragonborn, becoming Adrian Hana Dragon. Androgynous Pansexual, founder of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Empire on One Empire. Founded the Dragon Army, yours truly, General Dragon Zero, calling for the creation of the International Citizen Integrated Social Security Force, aka the Dragon Army, in order to secure the three elements of civilization: food, housing, and transport for all. Once we have those three secured via public-private partnership, by the Phoenix People's Party of the creation of the global central bank to issue a universal global currency, by my theory put into practice called debt refusion, DEBT, debt refusion, which I've written in the past years and on in struggling with chronic illness, chronic unemployment, loneliness, depression, suicidal tendencies, repression, bisexuality, etc., etc., etc. Or the libraries of Montreal become my second home, and the books my friends. Studied, read lots, wrote lots of theory, so debt refusion is one of it, which I'm calling into actors for the Phoenix People's Party and the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Empire. So to refuse all ALL public and private debt. So my private debt got 10,000 to the Royal Bank of Canada in debt myself. So if I'm X1, you're X2, and she's X3, and XY, hundreds of millions of X's of private debt, private citizen debt. Mine's 10,000. And taking into addition all X's together, what that amount is. X plus 1, if I'm 10,000 and he's 7,000, that means 17,000 plus another 3,000, that's 20,000. So all X's together, or public and private debt. So public debt is, let's say, the city municipality of Montreal, now known as Hawk Island, and other cities and countries, USA, Canada, Germany, Israel. Public and private debt. So X1 plus X2 plus X2, a million, there's hundreds of millions of us in there. Y is the individual countries, states. Y, let's say Y is Canada, Y1 is USA, and so on. 156 countries. Amalgamating all that number, creating the global central bank, refusing all that debt. All debts not annulled, not cancelled, not amnesty, not wipe off. Refused to give us that amount. X plus Y, the amount of the initial financing the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Empire. From that public debt, created that Dragon Army in complementary covenant cooperative with the Dancing Goddess Army, officially titled International Integrated Dance League, integrated now being all ALL genders, all sexual orientation, all inclusive. Cooperative dances, sure, there can be organized and twerking and specific genres of music and dances, but cooperative with a purpose for Mother Nature, for attaining harmony between civilization and nature, in complementary with the Dragon Army, to secure the three elements of civilization: food, housing, and transport. Once we have those secured for everybody, public-private partnership and the refusing of the debt, and creating a global currency and a global central bank by biometrics, the hand, the eye, and the voice are unique biometrics. Public-private partnership, food, housing, and transport, Dragon Army to make sure those three in the Dragon Army, officially titled International Citizen Integrated Social Security Force, National Citizen Integrated Social Security Force, to make sure that all those three elements are secured, and with the Dragon Army and form it from existing first of NATO North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO members, countries of which are 30 members of NATO North Atlantic Treaty Organization, Canada, US, Germany, France. There are 30 countries in NATO, Italy, Romania, Portugal, 30 countries in NATO, and then extending the hand of peace to join with Latin American nations and Africa nations, Middle East, Israel, and then from the West, peace to our brothers and sisters in the East. So the International Citizen Integrated Social Security Force to be amalgamated from all existing armies, first from NATO and public and private security forces, to make sure those three elements are secured: food, housing, and transport, whether railways, highways, airplanes. Once we have those three secured, and food for all, we can encourage people and encourage people to work out, train, exercise, which has been, is, and will be medicine and therapy for yours truly. To dance and hygiene in the public domain of the dancing goddess and the dragon empire. Hygiene encouraged, cleanliness. If other citizens of the empire, subjects of the empire, want to have 2 meters away distance from other citizens, they merely have to state it to the other citizens that they want their 2 meters respected. I got 3 negative COVID tests, but I think I had it. I was sick, ill, and diseased end of January 2020 until about February 20th. It's like death, pestilence, and disease. In many ways, did die during COVID. Yours truly, Adrian H. Dragon, died during COVID, being reborn as Adrian Hana Dragon, Androgynous, Pansexual, founder of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Empire. Hygiene, cleanliness, the public domain of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Empire. I see people dancing, having fun, loving in the streets, cleanliness and hygiene. And food is secure. Encourage people to love, have red boots, concept of red boots, where people can go do some loving that might not be appropriate for the younger ages to see at that point in time, but nonetheless. Nonetheless, in the public domain, we have a responsibility as all willingly loving to hygiene. And if, although I encourage, appreciate, and go get vaccinated, I got vaccinated on the 30th of May. Felt a big deal, didn't die, but like I said, I think I had COVID, although I got 3 negative tests. Was it COVID? I don't know for sure. When I had it, it hadn't been declared a pandemic yet. I had it end of January until about February 20th or so. It was like death, pestilence, and disease. It was like pestilence, death, and disease. And in many ways, Adrian H. Dragon died, being reborn Adrian Hana Dragon, Androgynous, founder of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Empire and the Phoenix People's Party, for a new world order of world peace, to national security and justice, global freedom, and universal love. Exercising, dancing in the public domain will be encouraged. Get dirty, but get back clean, because if we stay dirty, get bacteria, germs, disease. Wash hands when you go in and out, or the bank, or the grocery store, or the store. Still, we're gonna maintain that. It's important. It's even yours truly, brothers, founder of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Empire and the Phoenix People's Party. Man, step out, my dragon's priestess, the goddess that dances with her brother the sun's lair, is from office and temple, from the private to the public. Although I share some of my private, perhaps not all, because I want to share all. Besides, some things are best kept private. The balance between the private and the public is something the 20th century has struggled with philosophically, politically, spiritually, scientifically, in terms of the burden of freedom. Right? It's freedom. How do we define freedom? How do we attain it? I believe by creating the Dragon Army, securing food, housing, and transport for all with a system so that transport kept clean, people can move and roam around the world, and housing and food is provided. People can learn, grow, etc., etc. Work out, train, exercise, build, do volunteer work, community work. One of my volunteering which I love to do and hope to increase is reading to children. I'm actually in the process of writing children's books, a few ideas. I put something down, most of it orally, by oral transmission. I'm good at. I'm looking for volunteers to an hour to two to transmit, where I'll dictate by oration, orally, oral communication. The ideas, creative, and reward and encourage volunteering and community work in the public domain of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Empire. In this coming days, weeks and months, and of course the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Empire are non-sectarian, all willingly loving to join and support. Universal Revolutionary Centrism is the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Empire and the Phoenix People's Party, meaning that we can reach a compromise, which an agreement between the right and the left, neither with extreme right, fascism, neither with extreme left, communism, which were in the 20th century, right, raged across the world. The 20th century, the ideological struggles as embodied, ideological, political, philosophical, social struggles, is embodied in fascism, communism, right? Second World War was mainly a war between mostly fascism, right, in its different forms. Nationalism, ultra-nationalism, because fascism is a form of ultra-nationalism. Adrian H. Sana's Dragon, Universal Revolutionary Spiritual Centrism, and Universal Revolutionary Centrism is upon a non-sectarian Dancing Goddess and Dragon Empire to adhere to some principles. We are to secure freedom, securing freedom, the security of freedom, local, national, international. We have to secure certain elements of civilization, the food, housing, right, room, place like a bath for hygiene, room, food, at least once a day, twice a day, preferably three times, morning, breakfast. I never had that secured for myself. I always struggled, child, financially, out of life, right? Even now, I got no commissions, only few. During COVID, I got 3 employments as an essential worker. I did a few $1,000s, not much. I'm living the worst financial crisis of my life now. Slowly, So Adrian Dragon's Universal Revolutionary Centrism was embodied spiritually, philosophically, politically. The dancing goddess in the Dragon Empire, one empire under the sun and the stars on earth. For world peace, international security and justice, global freedom. Our universal love. Love is action. My allies and armies have created the World Bank of Love. Adrian Dragon to my allies and armies got trillions of hugs, trillions of kisses, trillions of tickles, trillions of dancing steps, marching steps. My name may be able to do. So, paradoxically, even if I'm in the worst financial crisis of my life, a trillion hugs for all my allies and armies. A trillion. A trillionaire. The first trillionaire, really. Oh, what is that? What else is it? 10 cents. And okay, I got some money. Not a lot, but we go get it. See? Got a few change. And I gotta show you off this bill. Because this bill has a Canada arm on it. See? And in a parallel life, yours truly would have chosen science, innovation, and technology as a career, although diverged and spent years alone, struggling in this hard cement rock blocks in the streets of Hawk Island, Montreal. Was going to libraries, chronic illness, chronic precarious work, financial poverty, loneliness, you name it, depression, suicidal. Working out, training, exercising has been, is, and will be medicine and therapy for me. Struggle, struggle, struggle across the great desert. I'm still not fucking perfect, fuck. Still fucking got issues. As I'm moody, upset, would love to afford a massage, but here it is. Makes me think of the microchip shortage. There you have it.